The movie Charlie Wilson's War opened this weekend. It's a Cold War tale of big drinkers and big deals. Congressman Charlie Wilson was a fixture on the party circuit and a fixture on Capitol Hill, too. A good character for a movie. And as ABC's Bob Woodruff discovered, a lot of it was true. He sat down exclusively with the real Charlie Wilson.
Can we get you a drink?
10 o'clock in the morning.
Fair enough, I guess.
In the movie, Tom Hanks pretty well sums up how Charlie Wilson was in the 1980s. He was a congressman from Texas.
I'm Charlie Wilson. I represent the Texas 2nd Congressional.
He was a partier and a drinker. Back then, he was even investigated for possibly snorting cocaine. But now he is 74 years old, recovering from a heart transplant. 10 years ago, he gave up drinking and admits his life was wild.
And what about the drugs?
Nobody knows the answer to that but me, and I ain't telling.
How many dates did you have? How many women did you sleep with?
Gosh, I didn't keep count of all that.
But despite his playboy ways, one woman set him on an historic course. Joanne Herring, a wealthy Texas socialite, opened his eyes to the brutal suffering of the Afghans under the Soviet occupation. Children maimed by exploding toys left by the Soviet military.
Charlie said this has to stop. And not only does it have to stop, but it needs to stop there before it gets here.
Joanne Herring is played by Julia Roberts in the film.
Why is the CIA running a fake war in Afghanistan?
Although the CIA was secretly operating in Afghanistan, Charlie Wilson wanted to ramp up U.S. involvement. And he was head of a congressional subcommittee with the power to make a difference.
Will you help us help them shoot down these helicopters?
Yes, I mean.
Eventually, he got Congress to spend nearly $1 billion, funneling in Stinger missiles to Afghan rebels that ultimately took down the Soviet helicopters.
Were you cheering?
Oh, my God, I couldn't believe it. I believe that was the most electrifying moment of my life.
Charlie may have been the only believer in the United States that the Afghan people could actually expel the Soviets. He had his own personal jihad.
The Soviet occupation of Afghanistan is officially over.
Yeah, I watched Peter Jennings. I had a bottle of champagne I was saving for such an occasion, and I broke it open and gave them a little toast.
What he did not predict was that the Berlin Wall soon would come down, and the U.S. essentially pull away from the people of Afghanistan, ultimately allowing Osama bin Laden to thrive there and plan for 9/11.
But you didn't see coming what was going to happen in 9/11.
No, nor did anybody else.
Charlie Wilson insists that leaving Afghanistan is the only mistake the U.S. made in that war. He stands by everything else.
If you could do this all again, would you do exactly the same thing?
Just about, precisely.
Bob Woodruff, ABC News, Houston.